Welcome to the Soul Craft Your Life podcast. My name is Carmen Marshall, and I'm a life design and manifestation expert, a 7-figure entrepreneur, wellness educator, and a dance teacher. And I'm passionate about helping you create a magical and fulfilling life. Whether you want to discover your purpose, learn how to attract financial abundance, or create more health, balance, joy, and connection in your life, the Soul Craft Your Life podcast has got you covered. 1 part strategy and 1 part soul. Each week we explore both the practical and the spiritual with intriguing experts and fascinating human beings, all sharing their wisdom to help expand what we think is possible for our own lives. The goal? To help you create a life you love on your own terms that stems from your soul. Let's dive in and discover what this life has to offer each of us. Hello, gorgeous souls. Welcome to episode 27. What beliefs support a soulful and successful life? So I'm really excited about this episode because I recently sent out my yearly Soulcraft feedback survey. So that's a survey that I send to my email list asking you what you most want to learn from me. So the free content, the paid content, podcasts, emails, courses that I do, what is it that you most want to learn? And why I love these surveys is it really shows me what's alive for you right now. And it gives me the best things to actually make content for. So for these next few podcasts, I'm going to really go into everything that you asked, all the things that you told me were the ways that you want to be supported, the things that you want to learn, etc. So I love this because I'm actually able to give you what you want. And so as we're going along with these podcasts, if you think of more things, please submit them to me because this is like the best way that I can serve you with what is actually most important to you. So one of the things that came up in almost, I would probably say every third survey was, how do you thrive in challenging and changing times like we're still going through? It's been a very different 4 or 5 years, right? Transitions. How do you thrive when you're frustrated, when your manifestation is taking quote unquote too long? Heartbreaks, breakups maybe in business or relationships, or things are just not going as you hoped. And I think this is a very much a human condition. Like, how do we thrive when life is just happening? And we know this with life. There's ups, there's downs, and we love the ups, but we need to figure out how can we actually navigate the downs, or when things are taking too long to manifest, or we just don't feel like we're on track, or things are really different, whatever it is. So this podcast is going to be devoted to that. But as you know, Soulcraft is always about strategy and soul. The strategy is more telling you how to do the things, but the soul is more the being. So this podcast is more going to be about the being. So the beliefs that I have that actually help me thrive in all of these things, challenging times, when things aren't going the way I want them to, etc. Now, I do want to say, these are just my beliefs that work for me. So as we're going through this podcast, please take what resonates with you and don't listen or don't take on what doesn't resonate with you, because I cannot tell you how to live your life. That is really your journey, your path, your heart, why you came here. However, I can share what works for me in the hope that maybe something will be a little seed for you, something will be something that can be super helpful for you. So that's really the energy that I want to bring to this podcast, not as a guru, not as this is the way to do it. This is just works for me. And, maybe in 2 or 3 years, is going to be something else that works for me that I will share with you too. All right. But that actually brings me to probably my 3 foundational beliefs that kind of speak to the same thing. Number 1, we get to choose what we believe. We literally get to choose, especially as adults. When we're kids, of course, our beliefs are more what our parents have taught us, what society has taught us, our school, religion, whatever it is. But as an adult, we get to choose our beliefs. Now, we may start to realize as we go along as being adults that the beliefs that we have are not the ones that we want. And what I always think, what beliefs do I want to have that actually support the life that I want to lead? And if my current beliefs are not supporting that, then I want to change them. We get to choose as an adult the beliefs that we want to believe. And if there's something that is not supporting the life that we want to lead, then we can change those beliefs. And so that's where limiting beliefs can come into play and we can actually change them. So I always choose beliefs that support the life that I want to lead. Secondly, as a foundation belief, and I already kind of spoke to this, but I really want to speak to it one more time. I don't have all the answers. My way, my beliefs aren't necessarily right. They're just consciously chosen and they work for me. So again, take what resonates with you, toss what you don't like. I can't and I never should tell you how to live your life. This is why the best coaches, and it's what I always try to do as a coach, is to ask you questions to help you arrive to what the answer is for you. I can give you examples in my life, and I know this is so important as a coach. Like, we want to hear success stories and we want to hear what works for somebody else. And I do that too. I look for way showers who have already done it so I can follow in their footsteps. But at the end of the day, we always have to go back to ourselves and what feels right and true for us in this moment. And then number 3, I stay really open and I don't get stuck in my beliefs because we have to evolve, right? Like, what we thought in the 1950s is totally different to what we think now in 2024. And we have to be willing to evolve as a species as well, but also just as ourselves. And we saw this during the past 5 years. Really, like, we've been asked to challenge our beliefs. What are we here for? How do we want to lead our life? You know, after COVID, a lot of people decided they wanted to have their own business. They no longer wanted to work for somebody else. So I think it's a really good place to come from, to have things that we believe in, but always be open and always be curious and always be willing to have a conversation with someone who has a different belief, because maybe it might change you. You know, maybe it might help you evolve, which is what we're here to do as well. All right. So with those foundational beliefs, let's go on to my core beliefs at this moment in 2024. And I can definitely change you. I can definitely tell you I've changed my beliefs, you know, from when I was a teen to my 20s, my 30s, my 40s, and now my 50s. And I'm sure if I was to do the same podcast in 5 years, my beliefs probably would be not totally different, but would have evolved as well, which I hope they would. So number 1, everything is happening for me instead of to me. And this is huge because it helps you take radical responsibility for your life. So number 1, when we think of what most people say, like, you know, why is this happening to me? Why did this happen? I did everything right. Like, why is this happening to me? That's a very disempowering way to look at what happens in life. If we look at it as happening to us, we can feel like a victim. But if we look at it as it's happening for us to help us evolve, then we actually have a totally different energy around it. We're more of the creator consciousness than the victim consciousness. And being a victim in anything is not fun. We want to actually always know that we have control of our actions. We don't necessarily have control of what happens to us in our life, but we have control of how we respond to it. So what I always like to think, and this is my number 2 core belief, the universe, God, consciousness, goddess, however you relate to it, wants me to be my most whole, authentic, fully expressed version of myself. And that's actually one of the things I want to be for other people. Like, I feel like that's what the universe wants for me. And I want to actually, in everything I do, whether it's dance, coaching people in their Dharma business, I want to help women and men be their most whole, authentic, fully expressed version of themselves. And it's really interesting how we view the universe, God, goddess, etc., is often how we will interact in the world as well. So it's a really good belief to look at. So if I believe that universe, God, goddess wants me to be my most whole, authentic, fully expressed version of myself, of course it's going to send experiences in my life to help me actually become that. And I always go back to one of the most recent things that happened to me last year, where I quote unquote manifested my dream position. Like, just so many things about it seemed so perfect. And then as I was going along, I realized it wasn't perfect. It was really rubbing up against my authentic code. Not only that, but there was also like little things that happened during the whole interview process that really helped me step into my own power. And I know that the universe was using that to actually help me become more authentic, more whole, more self-worthy, more powerful, and more aligned with what I'm here to do. And so we could look at like, oh my God, why did that happen? And it was my dream position and it got taken away and it didn't work out, rather than, ooh, why did this happen for me? And then you can see all the lessons. And it's just such a brilliant way to live life because it really switches the energy from victim consciousness to creator consciousness. Number 3, And this is actually from one of my favorite people in the world, Dr. Robert Gilbert. So he has this beautiful phrase, which I so believe as well. Life is a limited time opportunity, so we need to use that time as effectively as possible. And the three most important questions that we continually can ask ourselves in order that we can really look at this life in order to how can I use my time in the most effective way since it's a limited time opportunity? The three most important questions to always ask ourselves are, who am I? Why am I here? And what is my purpose in this lifetime? And I think those are three of the best questions in the world. So I can't claim I actually thought of these questions. Again, Dr. Robert Gilbert, amazing. I actually want to interview him. Just love him to pieces. Such a wise, humble, just an incredible man. And he is all about what is your dharma? What is your purpose? And as you know, that's in everything I do, whether it's teaching dance to help you really access your essence and your life force, or teaching you how to build your dharma business. What are you here to do? So who am I? Why am I here? And what is my purpose in this lifetime? And so that is a core belief for me that this lifetime is a limited time opportunity. And the three most important questions that we can ask ourselves are those three questions. And those are three things that I always ask myself. Even from the time I was little, I was always like, why? What is my purpose? What am I meant to do? And I'm going to give you a little tip. In case you don't know your purpose yet, if you're new to me, I have a great episode. Episode 3 is all about living and discovering your purpose. My retreats deal with that. Different courses deal with that. But I just want to give you a tip here. And also that episode 3 is just a very quick episode that will take you deep into it. The things that you love, the things that make you cry, the things that you would spend time doing whether or not you get paid, that make you feel expanded, inspired, magical. These are always linked to your dharma and your purpose. And I believe we should always structure our business around our dharma, around our purpose, around the things that we love. So follow that thread of curiosity. Even if you're not sure what it is right now, you can do my free podcast, you can do different courses, but even just follow that thread of curiosity. What do you love? What makes you cry? What makes you feel inspired? It will lead you to your purpose each and every time. It may take a little bit of time, but you will get there. That's the universe's little hints, is the things that you love that make you cry that you would do even if nobody ever paid you. So for example, for me, teaching dance and actually helping people connect to who they really are, I would do that forever without getting paid. All right. So number 4, core belief. So this is kind of connected to the 3 most important questions to continually asking yourself under the umbrella that life is a limited time opportunity. So we need to use the time as effectively as possible. So this is quite connected to it. So these are the 3 most important areas I feel to focus on in life. So you've probably heard some variation of this, and I just switched a little bit up. So relationships, because at the end of the day, when we're on our deathbed, we're going to remember it's going to be the people. And I also believe our dharma, but I'm going to come to that in a second. So relationships, whether it's a romantic partner, your family, your friends, your soul tribe. So what's so beautiful about really leaning into your dharma and your purpose, you will also find your soul tribe. Hi, lovely soul. It's Carmen here, and I'm interrupting this episode to tell you about my brand new free manifesting guide. So do you feel a little stuck when it comes to manifesting? Maybe you've been dabbling in this world of manifestation, but it's just not flowing. Or maybe you're just an inch away from your dreams, but you can't seem to break through. Or perhaps you're brand new to manifestation and you're 100% ready to tap into your superpowers, but you're not quite sure how to get started. You are not alone. We all have our moments of doubt. And here's the truth. We all encounter a few sneaky reasons that can slow us down. And so I've just created a brand new guide, and it's called the 7 Sneaky Reasons You're Not Manifesting. And more importantly, what you can do about them. I talk about common manifestation hiccups, practical steps to reawaken your manifestation mojo and start turning your dreams into reality now. So to get you started or back into your manifestation flow, go to carmenmarshall.com/7, like the number, sneaky, SNEAKY. So again, /7 sneaky. And I'll put it in the show notes too. Drop in your email and I'll send you the free guide straight to your inbox. Okay, let's get back to the podcast. So relationships, one of the three most important areas to focus on. Health, because if we don't have our health, we don't have anything. Okay, so our health is like so important. And then finally, our dharma and our purpose. So if you're not familiar with the word dharma is a Sanskrit word, which essentially means, what are you here to do? Like, what were you born to do? And we're all born with that purpose. We can have different purposes at different times in our life. And it doesn't actually always have to be connected to your business as well. It can be an energy that you bring to the world. So again, that's a whole other topic, but I still really feel relationships, health, and our dharma / purpose are the three most important things to focus on. Because when we're on our deathbed, those are the things that we're going to look back on. Did I have the relationships? Did I have my health? And did I fulfill what I was here to do? And it's my belief that when you are really tapped into your dharma and your purpose, that's when the money comes as well. All right. So that's a whole other topic too, but that will give you at least a little bit to chew on for now. All right. Number 5. Now, this is going to get a little bit more woo-woo. And so this may or may not be something that you believe in, but I have found that it really helps me approach life in a really beautiful, magical way. So again, this might be something like, I don't resonate with that, but I wanted to share it with you because it's something that has made such a huge difference for me. So I actually believe that I chose to incarnate in this lifetime, and that I also chose every experience that I'm going through. This really helps me embody, instead of being a victim, to be of creator consciousness. So if I chose to incarnate in this lifetime, and it's my responsibility to figure out, okay, what am I here to do? Because we can often forget, like the theory is that we forget when we are born as a baby, and then throughout life, we are remembering what we're here to do, so our dharma, and that I also choose every experience. So therefore, when I'm going through something, I can switch from victim into creator consciousness. Therefore, if I chose this experience, what can I learn from this? What is it trying to teach me? So say a relationship doesn't work out, or a business partnership breaks up, or I can give you some examples in my life. Well, all of those things have happened to me. So a relationship has broken up, a business partnership has broken up. Let's say, for example, like with my hip, I've had issues in my hip for the last 5 years or so, which is very difficult because I love dancing and I'm so active. But I always look at it like, what is that trying to teach me? And I know when my hip starts bothering me, it's very much a sign my body's telling me to slow down, because I've always been felt this desire to create and be very busy. And of course it's on my right side, which is kind of like it's in the hip flexor and also the hip itself. So that's kind of like the energy of a piston, like as a kind of like a train. And so it's always a reminder, okay, what are you telling me, hip? You're telling me to slow down, to relax, to pay attention to you, take walks on the beach. So any of these things that we're going through, there's always something that it's trying to teach us. So rather than say, oh my God, why is this happening to me? I've been healthy my whole life. I mean, believe me, I did go there. And I also want to mention this. These beliefs, it's not like we're never going to descend into negative thinking or unempowered thinking. But what I try to do is when I catch myself, because again, if we're consciously thinking about how we're living our life, which I believe is what it's meant to be conscious, is just to be aware of what we're thinking, of what we're doing, etc. That's all it means to be conscious, just to be aware. So when I catch myself having a limiting thought or a thought that isn't empowering, I simply can replace it. So yes, I totally went there when my hips started bothering me. Like, I've been so healthy my whole life, like eating so well. I love what I do, positive thinking. It's not like I have thought, oh, when I get to be 50, I'm just going to start going downhill. I've always had a positive thinking process about aging. So I could get stuff like, why is this happening to me? And I did, for that short time in the beginning. But after that, it was like, okay, what is this trying to teach me? And that's such a more empowered way, and also helps us learn the lesson that the universe is trying to guide us through so that we can be our most whole, fully expressed, authentic version of ourselves. So we can apply this to everything like, oh my goodness, why didn't this course launch go so well? Oh my goodness, like, why is it harder to market? Why did this person get so angry at me? Always from not why did it happen to me, but why is it happening for me? And that literally changes the energy around everything. So again, don't beat yourself up if you go to why is it happening to me initially, because you can just catch yourself. And that's part of being human. Oh, I'm going kind of into a victim mentality. Let me switch into creator consciousness. Okay, why is this happening for me? And again, this is not also to be Pollyannish where we don't fully feel our feelings. We still have to feel the sadness, the grief, the anger, the irritability, the grumpiness. I always tell all my Soul Flow dance students, come as you are to Soul Flow. So let's say you feel grumpy, you feel irritated, come. We need to dance that out rather than it getting directed to somebody. Let's feel those emotions because those emotions just want to be felt in order to move. So again, this is not to have spiritual bypassing, why in that we would be bypassing our feelings, but it's how, okay, once we feel the feelings, maybe once we've succumbed a little bit to victim consciousness, how can we get into creator consciousness? Okay, so that is number 5. Number 6, and this is really powerful as well. And I think I'm going to give you this one and one more, and I think I'm going to continue into part 2. Because again, I really like when you hear from me, just to hear a little 20-minute, not too long. Okay, so number 6, everything I want from people, I need to first be able to give to myself. And just feel that. It changes everything. So say, for example, we want love, like if we're not in a partnership, we have to be able to give that love to ourselves first. And when we can give it to ourselves and feel full and whole, that's when love from other people come in. Or if we're always searching it from other people, they're never going to be able to give it to us in the way that we want. We have to be able to give it to ourselves first. Or if we want to be recognized in the world, that goes back to not feeling worthy enough. So how can I feel worthy and respected myself? How can I give that to myself? Then ironically, you will actually get it in the world. Or what would be another thing? I wish that people communicated better with me. They were more open. They were more honest. And so then we have to think with ourselves, okay, where in my life am I not being open and honest with myself and maybe with other people as well? So it's so interesting how our outer world is always based on how our inner world is. And what I like to do is when I have a feeling that triggers me, like someone upsets me, or maybe I'm feeling lonely, or maybe I'm feeling frustrated because I'm not moving quick enough in my business in one area. So anytime I feel like a negative feeling or a sadness or grief or frustration, dancing again is a great way to move it. But another thing that you can do just when you're at home is just sit in a chair and place your feet firmly on the ground, your back against something solid, placing one hand on your hara or your womb or your sacral center, one hand on your heart, and just breathing in and out to let your body relax and connect with the emotion, whatever it is that you're feeling. So grief, loneliness, frustration, irritability, whatever it is. And then just ask yourself, what does that feeling need? What does that loneliness need? What does that frustration need? What do you need? And because you're talking to yourself, what is it that you need? And oftentimes it'll be like, I need to feel love. And you can tell yourself, okay, I love you. Like I'm not going to abandon you. I'm here for you. I love you. I see you. And it's almost like we're reparenting ourselves. And we can do this with anything like irritability. Okay, why? Let me feel that. I feel the irritability in my throat. It's kind of in my stomach too. Okay, that's what it feels like. Does it have a color? And then we can ask ourselves, okay, what does that feeling need? You know what? I need to go out for a walk. You know what? I need to take a break from this. And your inner guidance will always tell you. And it's beautiful because therapy is great. All these modalities that we learn are great, but we actually can be our best healer. So I just want to put this out here, and this is a little bit deeper. And if any of these topics you want to go deeper on, I will do a whole 20-minute podcast on one subject, but I just need to hear from you what you want to hear about most. So number 6, everything I want from people or from outside, I need to first be able to give myself. All right. So I'm going to leave it there and I will do a part 2, and then we will go through the next core beliefs that have really helped me. I would love to hear what you have thought so far. What beliefs resonate with you? Maybe what beliefs don't resonate. I love to hear that too, because I love to have great conversations. And what other beliefs or what has this kind of stirred up for you that you would love to talk about or dive more into? Any comments, any feedback, I love, because in the conversations is where we actually learn and it's where we actually embody. So I would love to hear what you think. All right. All my love to you, wherever you are in the world. Keep really returning to you, your essence, your life force. And if those three questions of who am I, what am I here to do, what is my purpose in this lifetime, if that is helpful for you, keep diving into that, because I really believe that we are all here for something, and that if more of the world really focused on this, we would have peace. And we would also really recognize that we're all part of one. And how can you actually have war and these huge things that are happening in the world if we actually believe we are all part of the same thing and all connected? All right. All my love, and I will catch you on the next podcast. Ciao for now. Thank you so much for listening. And if you enjoyed this episode, I'd absolutely love if you left a review on iTunes. It really helps me to get the podcast out there to support more people just like you to create soulful lives. And as a thank you, I'd love to send you my 20 personal affirmations for manifesting an aligned, magical, and fulfilling life. To access this freebie, simply send a screenshot of your review to soulcraft@carmenmarshall.com, and I'll send you my favorite affirmations and mantras straight to your inbox. All my love, and I'll see you on the next episode.